Guess who's for Zach?
All right, and a good Saturday night to you. Welcome to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament, and we have a championship game here on Saturday night. I'm Dave Shore along with James Blackburn, and James, we got two good teams tonight. We got the Sales Systems Limited team here in the championship game facing off against the K&D Rounds Landscaping, and both teams got here with very exciting semifinal wins last night.
They really did. There was an overtime win yesterday, and both these times could really get up and down. It looks like, Dave, we're actually going to have the national anthem.
I cannot talk during the national anthem. I'm sure you're the same, so we'll let it play here. Nice crowd on hand for the championship game here in Portsmouth, Virginia, where they have been doing this now for 66 times, and that is why we call something like this a prestigious and the most historic of the amateur tournaments in this country.
No, for sure. This tournament's been going on a while, Dave, and we've had a lot of big names come through here. Scottie Pippen comes to mind. Dennis Rodman was actually here back in his day.
Yeah, a lot of them, and you know what? Who might we see? Who knows? On the 2018 NBA draft, but you got some guys that have been playing their hearts out here in this 12-game tournament. Tonight, we talked about two teams that can move the ball. They should be able to because they've all got great players on both teams. But we're going to see two fantastic guards. Jaylen Barford on Sales Systems Limited out of Arkansas against Andrew Rousey, the young guard, or the now done guard at Marquette. He plays for the K&D Rounds Landscapers, and both of these guys have put up some massive numbers, both averaging over 20 points combined in the first two games here of this tournament.
Yeah, and Rousey did that in college, Dave, at Marquette, and it's interesting. He actually started his career at UNC Asheville, which is in my area of the country, in North Carolina, and put up huge numbers there in the Big South. Not a lot of people thought he could go from there and put up even bigger numbers in the Big East, but he's done that, and he's come here and he's continued his hot play. And you've already talked about Jordan McLaughlin, or I'm sorry, you talked about, Jaylen Barford.
Jaylen Barford, yeah.
And out of the SEC, he's used to a physical brand of basketball, and that's what we've had here all week. But his hot shooting, that's going to be something that Sales Systems going to have to work with.
You know what? That's a great point. And you know what? Not only just outside shooting, which we look for precision shooting in guys when these NBA scouts here are looking for that. They should be able to be precision at the jump shot. But what was impressive about Jaylen Barford is at the buzzer last night, he hit a layup, and it was showing aggressiveness at the right time to win that game.
Yeah, and the fact that he's such a good shooter from the outside was, that opened up the lane. So we've actually got the FIBA line here, Dave. We've got a mix of rules. We've got two 20-minute halves, which is college rules.
Yeah.
And then we've got NBA jump balls using an NBA ball. And then we've got college officials, and then we have a FIBA line. So these players are coming from college. They're trying to get to the NBA, and a lot of them will end up in Europe. So kind of a mix between the three rules.
And you know what's funny is if you watch games like the NBA All-Star Game, you see a lot of guys avoid contact. What I've seen here in the first couple of days that I watched is you see a lot of contact. I mean, you got guys going all out and not leaving anything out on the floor.
Yeah, and I love it because, and I know the scouts love it. I've already talked to them. There's a lot of flow. The flow is really, really good in these games. And, watching college as much as I do, Dave, the flow sometimes gets interrupted with a lot of calls, especially hand checks. We don't have media timeouts here either, Dave, so I'm going to have to limit my trips to the media room. But I love the flow, and these guys really get up and down, and they let them play.
Well, we're glad to have you along with us because this championship game should be a highly competitive game, and that's what we look to see. And, guys have gotten this far. I'm sure they're tired because you can get tired playing now your third game in this short amount of time. But you know what? I think you're going to see these guys. Now it becomes pride. Neither one of them want to lose this game.
Well, they've had all day to rest as well, Dave. And last game, one of the teams actually only had 6 active players because of a few injuries. Thankfully, tonight, both teams are fully healthy. You'll see 8 active players. All the teams started with 8 as we have 64 players here in the field.
All right, and so the guys are getting out to the center line. You see K&D Rounds Landscaping in the green, the light blue, worn by Sales Systems Limited as we get ready to tip it off here in the championship game of the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. And by the way, we're coming to you from Churchland High School. Wonderful facility that does a great job hosting this tournament.
Jaylen Barford with the ball. That's the guy that we said to watch here. He's been hot.
In the second chance points and hitting it in the corner.
3-point field goal.
That's Barford.
Jaylen Barford.
Starting out early already, Dave.
21.5 points he's averaged in the first 2 games so far in this tournament.
That's Geben off the mark. One of 2
Geben
players here from Notre Dame.
Just underway, 3-0 our score.
There's that physical contact you were already talking about.
Yeah, and a rebound. Little baseline move.
Justin Johnson
jumping on the floor. Wow, now there is an NBA 3 attempt right there.
Yeah, I think he shot that from SEC country. That was deep.
George King all the way to the rack.
And Dave, I've talked to a number of decision makers here in attendance from NBA, Europe, variety of places, and King has been one of the most impressive players here. Consistent. Every game he's been playing on both ends.
Enechionyia charged with the first foul. That's going to put Tyler Nelson out of Fairfield at the free throw line.
Tyler Nelson putting up over 22 points a game, one of the highest scorers coming in here. Could shoot the ball from deep. Now getting to the free throw line.
And so 3-2, our score remains. Jared Terrell with the miss. And brought out by Nelson.
The guy with the ball right now is a guy I love, Dave. Justin Johnson with a little hook shot. He's got great footwork in the post. Big body guy out of Western Kentucky. Played in Conference USA. Solid athlete, but does a lot of work just with his physical size.
Oh, what a great assist there by Carrington.
That was a nice wraparound
and
pass.
then Martinas Geben, the center on this squad at 6'10", 252 with 2 points.
Johnson shoots some threes in college, but does a lot of his work around the basket there off the mark.
Nice little move, Carrington. Off the dribble and the miss. Second chance, Terrell also misses.
Nice extra pass.
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
That's George King hitting hard.
Wow, that's been one of the hardest falls we've seen here all week. And he just bounced right back up.
And it didn't come from around the basket, which is what you normally would suspect.
We've seen a lot of guys, Dave, this tournament utilize the pump fake on the perimeter to get themselves free for shots. And a lot of guys have been biting on that pump fake. So that time it cost King. And hopefully he's okay. It looks like we might have a sub for him.
Well, James, after years of covering and doing sidelines in the NBA, I will say that it is a long-lost art, the art of the pump fake. I don't know why sometimes you get to the next level and you forget that that is an offensive move in itself, right?
Now, we talked about that earlier in one of the other games. I had already addressed that. You're exactly right about that.
Geben Carrington all the way, can't get it to fall.
Carrington tracks it down, though.
Good little cross court. Scottie Lindsey from Northwestern, but another offensive rebound. Terrell from the outside, and it gives them the lead.
I really like Terrell out of Rhode Island, out of the deep A-10 conference, Dave, and he's so strong, so physical, has one of the quickest first steps here. And he really improved his three-point shot over his junior year to senior year, shot over 40% from three his senior year.
Terrell got a lot of experience here at Rhode Island, 6'3". So now trailing by 2. This is Sales Systems Limited with the ball.
Oh, he was out of control on that one. Big rebound by Geben, big man out of Notre Dame. He is tough.
He takes up space and he clears out.
He reminds me of Jonas Valanciunas a little bit.
That's a really good one. There's Geben again. Can he finish in traffic?
Not the most athletic guy, but he has solid footwork, great hands. Actually a teammate of Matt Farrell, who we saw last game. Matt Farrell, he was used to getting a lot of pick-and-roll passes from him, but he could score it inside, back to the basket. Now he gets himself to the line.
First time we've called the name of Jock Landale, big center for Sales Systems. He was charged with that foul. He's out of St. Mary's, and he's been pretty active so far in this tournament. 17 points, 13 rebounds in 28 minutes in the game 1 on Wednesday.
Came in as an All-American this year too, Dave. Oh, he boxed out.
Yeah, they've done a really good job on the offensive rebound end, but can't hit from the outside. So 8-5 our score.
Johnson loves to bang. Not sure, I've never seen him shoot that. I don't know if that Dirk shot's in his repertoire.
No, and you know what? Dirk would also create the space by falling back, so the angle sometimes helps too.
Exactly.
You got to really perfect that. Enechionyia.
He's really struggled this tournament, Dave.
He really has.
Out of tempo. He's a better player than what he's shown here. Barford gets to the lane and finishes.
Hey, kind of like that layup he hit to win the game last night.
Yeah,
going to that left side.
Back to Enechionyia. He's a guy that can hit the three-point shot, but this line, extended line, he's missed a lot of shots short. That time gets it stapled on the backboard.
Yeah, pinned it right against the glass. Oh. Systems in transition and completed by Tyler Nelson.
Looked like he got away with the double dribble there. Just the ref wasn't quick enough down floor. It missed it.
So 9-8. Just nearing the 15-minute mark to go here in the first half.
That basket by Seton Hall's Geben Carrington.
Geben Carrington, you heard that there. Really one of the most decorated players in Pirates history. He helped Seton Hall to 84 combined wins during his time there.
Yeah, he's been a tough guard, using the dribble to create space for a shot. He's got Barford all over him. Nice pass.
And there, Enechionyia.
It's good to get him rolling. He's so fundamental and such a skilled player at his size, Enechionyia. I thought Temple was going to be a better team this year. Had a lot of talent on that roster.
That's a great point.
Basket is good.
Wow, that was an athletic basket there by Jeffrey Carroll.
Jeffrey Carroll out of Oklahoma State, over 15 points a game. Has a big body for a 2. 6'6", 220 pounds, and he is solid that time taking the contact.
So K&D Rounds Landscaping in the green jerseys, and we have a timeout here, but they just checked in Andrew Rousey, so we haven't seen him get fired up yet either.
Yeah, and Rousey, when he comes in, he starts getting rolling.
All right, so our score 12-11 right now. We'll take a quick timeout. All right, welcome back to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament Championship game. We're at Churchland High School. Dave Shore and James Blackburn. That's Sales Systems Limited at the line, and finishing it out was Jeffrey Carroll.
This game's been played at a high level so far, Dave. Both these teams pretty evenly matched. Had to win 2 games to get here, so this is their 3rd game in 4 days.
Yeah, now we're tied up at 12.
I love Barford's defense. He's just been all in people's shirts.
Yeah, that's a great point, James.
Oh, my goodness. And Justin Johnson says, no suit for you today.
And that's a really aggressive way to pin it.
I love the kid from Western Kentucky. Quick shot.
Yeah, Carroll probably should have controlled that and passed it around. They had the other side open. Quick. Look down the court. George King finishes for K&D Rounds Landscaping.
Took a tough fall there earlier in the game. Good to see him bounce back up. King, wing out of Colorado, been really consistent on both sides of the floor this whole tournament.
So they take the lead at 14-12.
Nice show that time by Cokley out of UAB, and he's on down the court. They got to look. Missed him.
Yeah, King was looking. Gives it off Rousey. Now to Lindsey. And he gets it to increase the lead to 5. So they were 1 down coming out of the timeout. Now they lead by 5 at 17-12.
Some tough defense.
Turnaround doesn't go for Justin Johnson.
He can't believe he missed it.
No, he can't. King off the dribble decides to pull back. Lindsey.
Nice rebound there by Landale. Good box out on Cokley.
Yeah, when Jock isn't using his offensive skills, he knows that he is a rebounder.
Barford with probably an ill-advised shot right there. That was a heat check.
Here's Rousey. 1-on-4, decides to bring it back. Shoots at the free throw line, though, and gets it.
He's so good at creating space. If you give him an inch, he's going to hit it. Showing the mid-range, the 3. He's a lot quicker than what I remember him being in Asheville.
Yeah, he's shooting over 53% now in this tournament.
Nice poke away.
King. Lindsey. Oh, boy, there is another hard fall.
Golly, and
wow.
He is not feeling good right now. I don't know if he's upset for himself, missed the dunk, or if he's hurt. That was a hard fall.
Well, Justin Johnson was not going to concede the easy dunk.
Justin Johnson, he's so tough, so physical. I'm telling you what, if he doesn't make it to the NBA ranks, he is going to have a host of European and international teams that want him.
Yeah, and you know what? That's a great point, James. For anyone that follows the draft and loves this, with the wonderful development of the G League, there's a lot of opportunities for these guys out here, and it's provided a lot more scouts to take a look at, and I love that league because of the development that they can do.
No, for sure. There's a lot of G League teams here.
1 and done on that end for Sales Systems Limited.
Oh, nice.
That's Rousey.
Rousey's heating up. Every time he shoots it, it looks like it's going in.
And they have increased the lead to 9 for K&D Rounds Landscaping, 21-12 now.
This is a good matchup to watch right now. Chris Cokley out of UAB versus Justin Johnson. Those two played in the same conference, the Conference USA. They know each other well.
And there, that busts up a 12-0 run that K&D Rounds Landscaping had. And Barford. Kadeen Carrington. Enechionyia misses.
There's Cokley.
Cokley, first we've seen of Chris Cokley out of UAB.
Those two guys, Johnson and Cokley, both very physical, big-bodied guys. About 500 pounds practically down there in the paint right now between those two. The referees are going to let them bang. That's going to be fun to watch. Both very physical, good rebounders.
You know, a lot of scouts will watch for dribble speed with one of the things. George King does a really good job with that. He's just got to be smart to cut down on the turnovers. Turnaround good by Enechionyia.
Enechionyia that time had the mouse of the house and the post with Barford, and good to see him get going a little bit with a nice little hook shot.
Johnson.
That's just not his game. He hits only about one of those in college, and out here he's been forced into about 3 or 4 more of it. Oh, wow.
King from the outside. That's good. That's 3. And they're going to take a timeout now because that increases the lead to 28-14. So one down at the last timeout and now doubling up the score.
Yeah, I love George King's release. It's so basic, so simple, and really fundamental player.
All right, so we'll take a timeout with 10:19 left to go in the first half. 28-14, K&D Rounds Landscaping. Welcome back. It is 28-14. We are at the 66th annual Portsmouth Invitational Tournament Championship game. I'm Dave Shore. James Blackburn with me. Where can we find you on Twitter, James?
At James Jr. 21.
All right, I'm at Dave_Shore. And this is a nice little, I think 17-2. We don't have a stats monitor, but I believe it's a 17-2 run here by K&D Rounds Landscaping.
Ever since Rousey came in the game. Oh, what?
And that is just not an advised shot right there.
Well,
in no team system is that an advised shot.
Golly.
George King will get the basket on the goaltending.
They were at the end of the shot clock there, but you know sometimes these shot clocks are only 24 seconds, which is NBA shot clock. These players are used to 35 in college, so seen a few shot clock violations this week.
Yeah, but you know what? You're going to go to some NBA teams possibly that concentrate on early offense in a clock too, and so you got to be prepared.
Exactly.
And there is a putback.
Isaiah Wilkins.
Isaiah Wilkins.
Defensive Player of the Year out of the ACC this year. You got to block him out. That's what he does. Gets rebounds.
Boy, there's a nice move. Rousey in the lane, can't get it to fall. Quick out. Cokley. I'm sorry, not Cokley. That was Kelan Martin.
Out of Butler.
Yeah.
And I've really liked him. He had a solid game the other night and really versatile forward, I guess you call him. He's kind of like a 4 in a 3-man's body.
Well, you know, and I've seen this before, James. I don't know about you, but, you know, you got a system like Butler, okay? So, and a lot of teams play team concept, but if you get out of that and you're starting to play kind of in this all-star format, it's very hard for you to kind of assert yourself.
No, exactly.
At times. Because you've been so used to being contained in that offense that you've learned.
Very similar to Virginia as well.
Yeah, very similar.
Ooh.
And a nice shot from the outside by Tyler Nelson. Got the stroke from Fairfield.
Oh, I don't know how many people agree with that call, but Rousey's just so good with the ball with either hand, keeps his head up. He's so quick.
Yeah, and that's another thing that, you know, when you talk to a lot of scouts, they're looking for ambidextrous play. You know, guys that can use both hands effectively. King off 1 foot.
He's so consistent. I've heard some scouts here compare him to a poor man's Kawhi Leonard. I'm not sure if he's that level of an athlete. But man, he could really stroke it from the outside. Has a nice body.
Now, can I give you scouts a hard time? I can't understand the term poor man's anybody. Okay, you either are that person or you're not that person. You're not a poor man's version of them because, first of all, you're playing at a level that is above, you know, thousands of other kids.
Yeah. I've never heard rich man's. I'm waiting to hear that one someday.
Well, that would mean that they're better than the person that you're comparing them to, so why would you be comparing them to them?
And there's my personal favorite, the poor man's, the double poor.
You know what? I almost hate comparing anybody to anybody.
It's tough.
You know what I mean? It's very hard. I think that in our mind we're thinking the talent and skills that player did, but there's a lot of stuff we can't measure.
There is. And that's one of the things. These teams actually, Dave, do interviews with players between sessions and at night at the hotel. And these teams are here not only to find out, how good these players are on the basketball courts, but also as people in interviews. It's easy. They've scouted them all year, so they know who they are.
Nearing the 6-minute mark left to go in the first half, and it is a 12-point lead.
Bad shot
for
by Terrell
K&D
that time. Oh, great
That was
look.
a great look. Not prepared was Justin Johnson there. It was a tip ball, though. That's Tyler Nelson.
Oh, wow. No, oh, my goodness. Rousey can't believe it. I'm not sure I can either on that foul, but if he did touch him, that's not a good decision because that was a very poor decision by
it was a bailout.
Nelson, yeah.
It really was.
But, scouts here, that's what they want to see from Rousey is how well can he defend. He's not the biggest guy in the world. Could definitely score. He's already proved he could do that at a high level at Marquette, but how well can he defend against bigger and quicker guards?
Sales Systems won their first game with 6 players in double digits. They won last night with just 2 players in double digits. So now it's a 10-point game. K&D Landscaping leading at 33-23.
Good ball movement right now by K&D's. Terrell launches a 3. Another forced shot. Ball never touched the paint that time. You like to see the ball touch the paint, at least on the dribble drive, if nothing else. Nice pump fake.
Oh, that was a good show and go.
Nice cross-court pass. That's what Terrell does. Goes downhill, finishes at the rim. That's more his game.
Yeah.
So athletic, so bouncy. Look for a highlight dunk, Dave, for him this game. Johnson just can't find the range from 3.
No, and you know what? He continues at it. Sometimes guys will, try to find something else.
Yeah, Johnson, he let's find his numbers here. Actually shot 41.5% this year from 3, but that was on a very limited number of shots. So he's much more of a low post player. Really good at that mid post. I'd like to see him on that roll or on that pop. Just do a short pop,
Yeah.
Just pop to the free throw line where you can make the shot.
That's Jock Landale.
Roll, get out of there.
Handing it off to Nelson. Oh, nice bounce pass from Landale.
Great pass. That was perfectly on point.
Contested by Tyler Nelson.
So Nelson getting some points from inside and out the last couple of minutes.
Nice step through move.
Jock Landale clears. This is Sales Systems Limited in the light blue jerseys. And turnaround falls for Chris Cokley. Or Kelan Martin. I keep getting the 15s mixed up on my chart.
It is confusing because every team here has the same uniform numbers. So.
Which, by the way, James, it's good to note that this was a strictly number draw to pick these teams.
Exactly.
Right? They draw for each of these sponsored teams, so it's all fair who you get on your team.
Yeah, it is, and it's all done by the same sponsors that have been here for a while. Great sponsors that keeps this tournament alive.
Yeah, there's so many great things here. The volunteers and the organizers, man, they have this thing down pat.
66 years, you would think so.
And you know what? It's funny when you hear the initial story. Just kind of, we invited a couple of teams. It was kind of like inviting some YMCA teams. Let's just hold a tournament. And suddenly they said, let's start inviting some other guys. And then let's start getting sponsors to help bring some of those guys. And it's a really fantastic story that has put this together. 35-27 with 5:32 left. Sales Systems is down to K&D Rounds Landscaping as we continue in the championship game here at the Portsmouth Invitational. back at the championship game, live from Churchland High School in Portsmouth, Virginia. Dave Shore and James Blackburn. It is K&D Rounds Landscaping. They're wearing the green jerseys, inbounding.
Heavy screen right there. Geben.
Kick. We'll keep it with K&D Rounds.
This has been one of the lower scoring games we've had here, Dave. I mean, shoot, I've been on a couple of broadcasts that well over 100. So this would start off a little slow. Hasn't been much energy in the crowd. Few oohs and ahs at times, but kind of still waiting for that scoring punch from both these teams.
I wouldn't say it's half the number of NBA scouts, but they've kind of they were all in one area in the end zone now, and some I see sitting in the regular bleachers here as well. So still some, who knows who the top all-tourney team's going to be out of this. And so there are a couple of guys, I'm sure, in this game that some of these guys have circled on their map, their radar.
Yeah, definitely. And there's 29 of 30 NBA teams represented here with a host of other countries, Italy, Korea, Belgium, and a lot of country scouts here in attendance watching these guys play.
Well, when you watch that 2018 NBA draft, I expect you'll hear a few of the names that you've heard and followed at this tournament. And that would be a nice run for this tournament because they had 6 guys selected last year in the 2017 NBA draft.
Including a first-rounder.
Yeah.
They had the Horns in there, but wasn't able to come off of it. Look at him. Johnson
against his own defense. Johnson fouled on the putback.
He's so good at that pump fake.
That's Chris Cokley with the foul.
So strong. He's not that big of a guy, Dave. He's really probably only about 6'6" without his shoes on. But, man, he could rebound him with the best of them.
So this is Justin Johnson at the line. Here's an interesting one about Justin. He won a lot of brownie points with his girlfriend. He proposed to her before a tip-off of one of his final games at Western Kentucky.
Wow. The question is, did they win the game?
I don't know if they won the game, but it's hard to say no to someone when you're in front of everybody right before the tip-off.
That's a good idea.
Not much passing needed on that one as Kadeen Carrington took it himself.
And Carrington spaced everybody out and just went to work.
Pretty good defense there, but a good roll.
Great roll to
Isaiah Wilkins.
Isaiah Wilkins. Has a good last name, Wilkins. A lot of good basketball. Dominique Wilkins we always think of.
Yeah, I worked a game, Virginia against Notre Dame, the last regular season game going into the ACC tournament, and I thought this Virginia team is on a roll. So they had their disappointments, but they have a talented bunch.
No, they definitely did. They had a great team this year. I think a lot of people picked them to win it in their brackets.
That's why we don't win brackets a lot.
Man, Justin Johnson's just blocking everything that comes inside.
He's not hitting the threes, but he sure is blocking and playing D.
He's making an early push for the MVP of this tournament. He's had a great 3 days.
Oh, nice look to Nelson.
Man,
and Tyler Nelson. But nice little touch pass from Justin Johnson to get it over to him quickly.
You know what's unusual is Tyler Nelson, 35% from 3, and he's lit it up this tournament. Looked like much better shooter than what the numbers shown. And you had other guys over 40%, and they've struggled.
Here comes Sales Systems. They've cut the lead by K&D from 12 down to 5, and it was a double dribble.
Yeah, I was going to say, if they weren't going to call that, I think they were just so impressed. He was going so fast. That was like a la Lance Stevenson right there.
Well, maybe they could give one. I actually think he double dribbled twice. So maybe they could give one. They just couldn't do it twice.
Yeah. He was going so fast. Barford out of Arkansas, 6'3", 202 pounds. He is so athletic, very explosive player. It's the first time I've heard a switch call. Not sure if the microphones picked that up, but not a lot of communication for these guys this week.
I think they're getting a little tired.
I think so too. Good rebound by Wilkins.
Corner ball didn't go for Martin. Second chance point didn't either. And so our lead is still 5 for the team coming. For anything there. The corner doesn't fall for Carroll. Now points are not aplenty.
Oh, wow.
The foul and the basket. Enechionyia. Enechionyia out of Temple.
Saw him a couple of times earlier this year, Dave, at the Charleston Classic tournament. And that was early in the season, but that Temple team made it to the championship game then. And I thought they could be a team that could make the tournament this year. It was a little disappointing, but if he's a player that if his motor is running high, he's on NBA radars. If it's not, and he's not shooting the ball well, then he's going to be tough for him to get to the next level. But he's really skilled, talented player.
So the lead's still 7.
Wow.
And now increase that. Or cut it to 5. So cut it to 5, 40-35. K&D still holds the lead.
Cokley so strong down there in the paint. Nice pass from Rousey.
Third all-time leading scorer in UAB history. Second in rebounds, too.
That's Jock Landale.
So Jock Landale, haven't heard from him much. He had a great game 1 on Wednesday, 17 points, 13 rebounds in just 28 minutes.
Yeah, he's got a few guards on his team that really like putting up shots. So
you mean it's not a feast for the big man here?
No, not on his team. He's used to touching it a lot more too, being an All-American.
Well, a lot of these teams, just the way that of the draw, they bring 64 players here. We've seen a lot of guards on both teams.
No, for sure.
Getting the wind knocked out of him a little bit there is Jeffrey Carroll.
Number 14, Enechionyia is second, team 7.
Looking at Jock Landale. I used to always wonder when I looked at rosters, if teams kind of inflated their height numbers. But looking at all these players are tested, and they're measured by BAM testing at this combine, and he's a legit 6'11" without shoes on and 7 foot with shoes.
Wow. Yeah, you don't see that a lot. I've seen several players here that are listed about 6'2", 6'3", and I'm 6'2", and I'm quite a bit taller than they are. So
I'm not. So we'll go with that.
I wish I was about 6'11". Now they're downing a lot of ball screens here on the side, Dave. You see that at the NBA a lot. So keeping the guards out of the middle. That time it didn't work.
Martinas Geben. And the last basket.
Great hands by the big fella.
Increases the lead to 6. 44-38. K&D leading it. Turn around in the lane, not there.
A lot of these guards, though, are driving with the, their first option is to score the ball. So.
Yeah. Oh, what a move by Rousey.
You see them put their head down a lot, not really looking to pass as much. Forced shot there by Terrell, who's had a hard time scoring from outside this game. They don't wait for the last shot.
They don't. Jeffrey Carroll. Now we'll see. It's a 3-point lead now, 44-41. A chance to increase it going into the half as the clock winds down. And the last second shot does not go, and K&D will go into the locker room, leading this one 44-41 over Sales Systems Limited in our championship game. What did you learn out of the first half, James?
These guys are really, those last 10 minutes, the guys started to get more electric and a lot more scoring.
Hey, you know what? We didn't see a real balanced attack by both teams either. So we'll see what we see in the second half of this one. The 44-41 K&D, and it's a little bit of pride, I'm sure, to try to say you won the championship at the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. So we'll be back for our second half in just a little bit.
Everybody's talking about Portsmouth. Woo!
Everybody. Everybody's talking about me.
I mean, probably some hot chocolate should be all right.
Everybody's talking about Portsmouth.
Everybody's talking about Portsmouth. Woo!
So I've been going to Portsmouth since I was 5 years old. My father, who had been scouting for the NBA for many, many years, was instrumental in helping out with Portsmouth. Portsmouth is run by the city of Portsmouth. It's run by a committee of volunteers. It's run by people that the NBA teams, when they arrive, they feel like they're a reunion with the family. It's a charitable event where they give out scholarships to the Portsmouth kids that are from the community in the Chesapeake area. Players that the PIT are getting, all right, they're the top college seniors, most of them. A lot of times we'll have the top 10 or so players that'll go to the combine. However, players are now attending the Portsmouth tournament because, A, they need to. If we're finding out that between 9 and 19 players every year that choose not to go to Portsmouth don't get invited to the combine, don't get drafted, nor make an NBA team. Now they've realized this is an opportunity for them to interview for the NBA teams. None of these guys right now are NBA first rounders. They may be able to play, but they have to play into the first round. Last year, we got 6 players drafted, 1 in the first round. And this is what they're trying to do now. They realize that we have to open up the doors, interview, and do everything that we can to get that roster spot. They're eliminating the opportunity to interview in front of those teams. It's kind of like saying, you know what, I'm pretty good, but wait until maybe I'm the top 4, then you can come interview me. Now they've come to realize I've got to open up the door for myself, get the experience, prove to them that I'm going to be a player that can play on their team.
Oh yeah, it's all about the drive, baby.
Portsmouth on the right side of the river. Rediscover your neighbor, the new Portsmouth.
second half of our championship game here in the 66th PIT.
And welcome back to the second half of the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament Championship game. We are live from Churchland High School. Glad to have you with us here on the championship game for the second half. It is 44-41. K&D Rounds Landscaping leads Sales System Limited. I'm Dave Shore. This is James Blackburn. James, we can go over some scoring here as we watch the tip of the second half as we just get underway here. But we didn't see as much balance scoring, I didn't think, in the first half.
No, definitely not. And there was only one double-digit score for each side. Sales System led by Tyler Nelson out of Fairfield, 4 for 6 from the field, 12 points. And we had George King for K&Ds with 10 points. Everybody else was in single digits.
Enechionyia starts out the second half scoring, Obi, for K&D as they pick up where they left off at the end of the first half. Missed shot by Sales Systems. And now here's K&D trying to increase that lead as we just get underway here in the second half.
Sales Systems now 4 for 21 for the game from 3.
Oh, nice basket and the foul. George King.
Basket is good.
You know what stands out with him, Dave, is the fact that he just is so patient and he understands his spots. Does a lot with few dribbles, and that's where the comparison comes in with Quad Leonard. Quad Leonard, of course, does a lot, really efficient with few dribbles, and that's what George King does. Doesn't really have to sit there, take time, go between his legs. He just has simple movements. He's so strong, and he's such a good shooter, really fundamental player.
Well, I'm not paying the salaries at the NBA, but you know what? To me, I would want a guy like that at least invited.
No, he's definitely...
Because he's a tweener position, really.
Yeah, he's a guy that I could definitely see at the very least being a two-way player and possibly a second-round pick. I would expect to see him in Chicago. If they win this game, he may even be MVP.
Carrington off the dribble. And that's Kelan Martin clearing it out from Butler.
The 5 out right here by Sales Systems.
And they wanted to make sure that they got that one
Field goal
to Kelan Martin. He had done most of the ball touching on that one. 49-44.
Carrington directing traffic, looking for the pin down screen for King. Oh, wow.
Great follow.
Geben, not the guy known for the most athleticism, but that time he used every inch he had to get the two-handed putback dunk.
His teammate Matt Farrell from Notre Dame had been playing in this tournament as well.
Good idea by Wilkins, but a little bit too much juice on that pass.
Yeah, I don't think Wilkins has looked offensively as assertive in this game as he did in the 2 previous games that they've played.
Yeah, he's not taking a lot of shots. Only 3 shots this game. Carrington's put up the shots, though. That's his 12th.
Yeah. So K&D, they have the lead. They have the ball now, 51-44. A little bit more motion and screens being set by K&D.
Yeah, some more man movement. We haven't seen a lot of man movement here. Seen some okay ball movement, but
Johnson falls to the deck hard. Actually, that was Carroll.
Carroll's taken a couple of blows this game.
Yeah. Carroll out of Oklahoma State.
Right now, these players, it looks like everybody's just trying to find the groove. It's almost like this is their first game, just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. We have 17 minutes left for them to figure it out. K&D's holding on to the lead.
Yeah, you're looking at the stats. How many threes does K&D have in this game?
16. They've taken 16, but they're 4-16. Neither team, Dave, we've already talked about, has been able to find their rhythm from the outside. Really poor shooting for both teams. Sales Systems only shooting 33% from the field. Look for them to get to the line some more.
And it's not how both of them got to the championship game either.
No, definitely not. But there are a lot of really good, high-quality defensive players in this one.
Yeah, there's a long shot there by Terrell.
Terrell. That's his first three of the game, or first outside shot, I should say.
Jock Landale.
Another big that's just trying to show his range. Needs to get him down on the block. Carrington's doing a lot of dribbling this game.
He really is.
There's King. He does not do a lot of dribbling. About 3 dribbles might be his max.
But you know what? In those 3 dribbles, he creates the space that he needs.
He does. He's got
it's like one big one and then a step back.
Utilizes fakes, jab steps.
Landale to the rack and fouled.
Nice little pass there by
Foul is charged in
Fairfield's. Who was out on the pass? Nelson.
Team second.
Yeah, King's been really impressive. Has a great body, too. Great build, high shoulders. Probably put on some more weight as he gets older.
So I was looking during the half. This is I ran into the old man moment that I'd done 16 years in the NBA of traveling with teams, but a lot of guys I've traveled with. Derek Fisher, Avery Johnson, Scottie Pippen, a lot, Popeye Jones, a lot of guys played at this tournament.
Yeah, no, I mean, you could go on and on. I see your list right there. It's pretty long.
Well,
oh my goodness!
What a finish!
Get your popcorn ready, because Chris Cokley, my word.
No, you know what? I wrote down a couple of names like Dave Cowens and Rick Mahorn, who don't get mentioned in the whole, hey, it was John Stockton and Scottie Pippen thing. But that, there's some history to this tournament.
No, definitely. I loved Rick Mahorn with Detroit Pistons bad boys. He learned how to foul players here at this tournament.
He did. I didn't know that was a skill you really had to learn, but he mastered it.
He did.
And he's one of the great guys, too, still to the day.
I believe he's on NBA radio now, Dave. I might be wrong about that.
No, he is. He's still the color commentator on the Pistons broadcast. We got a timeout.
That basket by Isaiah Wilkins.
Isaiah Wilkins does get a basket, and he obviously gets a lot of cheers here, being in the homeland area of Virginia. 57-50 our score, still with K&D, who led at the half. And they are leading right now as we are in the second half of the championship game here at the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you that once the game is over, stay tuned and stay in your seats for the presentation of the runner-up trophy, the championship trophy, and the player voted the most valuable player in the 66th annual PIT. It will all happen immediately upon the end of the game.
All right, we're back to action here in this second half. 15-18 left to go. And K&D leads it by 7. They have the basketball.
Cokley couldn't find it, but
and trying to cut into the lead. And the falling basket, Jaylen Barford. He's created most of his off the dribble.
He has now 4 for 12 for the game.
Great look by Rousey. And the finish will be Enechionyia.
Rousey now up to 5 assists for the game, and the scoring for K&D continues so evenly well distributed. Only one double-digit scorer for them, but they found themselves in the lead.
Yeah, and he was the leading scorer on the team coming in, but Andrew Rousey deciding to maybe use other talents in this championship game. There's one from the outside, Kelan Martin.
Martin now with 10 points and double figures.
We might see some more opening up of the 3-ball. George King, a little spin move.
He's so efficient. He's with so few dribbles. He's kind of similar to Klay Thompson in a way too, with that, but just finds a way to get a shot off. It's really impressed me tonight. Kind of a guy that if you don't watch the game closely, you won't even really notice him. But he's quietly up to 15 points now, which is the game high.
I think that's a great point. And if I'm a scout, I'm kind of looking for that kind of player.
3-point field goal, Scottie Lindsey.
Lindsey out of Northwestern. Foul called on the floor. It's going to go against Andrew Rousey.
And Nelson's been handling the majority of the point guard duties for sales systems. That's Tyler Nelson out of Fairfield. Averaged 3.3 assists a game at Fairfield, but he came in as a scorer with over 22 points per game.
Now, I want to ask you a couple of things. So let's keep it here during this timeout as we see both teams go into their huddle to talk about this. All right, you've seen a lot of guys play. You like to look for certain things. What is an overrated skill that they often say, when people analyze a player?
An overrated skill?
Yeah, what's an overrated, and then I'll ask you an underrated one.
Okay, an overrated skill I would say would be, that's a good question. Probably athleticism, because athleticism, you could say it's underrated and overrated, but I would say overrated just because, we're not doing track and field.
Right.
You've got some guys that may be the best athletes, especially when we're talking about moving up levels.
Yeah.
Because these guys may be great athletes now, but when they get to the NBA, they could be just average athletes.
Yeah.
So you've really got to be an exceptional athlete.
I think that's a great point. Athleticism, and they're all athletic.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so give me an underrated one.
I would say IQ and being vocal on the floor.
Yeah, okay.
Being vocal is something that really is so underrated. Being a leader, haven't really seen that a ton from this tournament, but that really translates. You can really extend. I know you've seen it, Dave, at the NBA level. A lot of guys that may not have the most talent, most athleticism, but they've been a good team guy, character, being vocal, being a leader, and that really extends players' careers.
All right, for me, the underrated one is playing hard. I actually think playing hard is a skill.
It definitely is, and you would think that everybody here would play hard.
Obviously, but you're right.
But not everyone does. And I'll give you one more, Dave, is knowing what your strengths are and weaknesses, knowing how you got here and how you got your invite.
Rousey from the deep corner.
I like that pass, too.
Yeah, it was a great baseline pass. And a foul as Martinas Geben tried to finish.
Rousey just pointed to Terrell. I think they had that play drawn up out of the timeout. It's a little back screen to free up Rousey. You see that play a lot at the next level.
I don't think enough is talked about court vision either, because we see so much early shot shooting, especially in Houston type of offenses in the NBA, that your ability to see the floor up, forward, ahead of you, and maybe make that quick pass down court is very important, I think.
No, that's why Matt Farrell from Notre Dame stands out so much in this tournament, because we alluded to it earlier, how many guys here are driving to shoot first and pass second or even third, and Farrell is driving to set up others for easy shots. That's been missing a little bit at several of these games. Although Rousey's done a nice job of it now this game, 7 assists so far. Oh, he read that one the whole time.
It's going to be the finish by Terrell.
That's what he is. I told you, watch out for the highlighted explosive dunks.
You did. Because you know what? Probably not enough people got to see Rhode Island basketball. But they played some great basketball there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, too. Last 2 years they made the tournament, Dave. They've been really solid. That's Justin Johnson's wheelhouse right there. The little jump hook with the right hand. He's so tough when he gets that deep post position.
Only brings his team within 11. So our score is at 68-57. The team in green is leading.
That's those shots you got to make if you show off your range to NBA scouts.
Oh, nice pass. Look at Rousey.
Oh, my goodness.
Look at that teamwork. The foul is going to go against Isaiah Wilkins.
Everybody, I think, in the building wanted that play to work because, man, just think, Dave, if he would have thrown it like that, then he would have dunked it. We might have.
It may have made SportsCenter.
Yeah, we probably would have had the building shut down.
Scottie Lindsey at the line with 2.
So Scottie Lindsey from Northwestern. He's what has been very plentiful at a tournament like this, and that is at a guard position.
Yeah, the shooting woes continue for Sales System this game, Dave. 6 of 27 for 3. Just have not been able to find the range. They look tired a little bit out there, honestly.
We really hadn't seen much of Jordan McLaughlin either on the Sales Systems team.
We haven't
man
seen,
out of USC.
Yeah, we haven't seen much of him at all. Matter of fact,
I mentioned him because he led USC to 68 wins in 3 years, and it was really big for USC to try to prove it wasn't just UCLA's college basketball town.
Well, there's a reason, Dave, that we have not seen Jordan McLaughlin, and that is because he has not played this game.
Yeah, okay. I see him sitting on the bench.
Yeah, he has not entered the game according to my stats.
Okay.
Because he's number 5.
Yep, he's number 5. He's sitting right over there.
And they've had 7 players enter, and he's not even on the box score. So, yeah, we're not dumb, I guess. We haven't seen him at all. He's been really quiet.
You know, I had saved that he had gone 1 of 11 in game 1. So I don't think that was the coach's decision because that's not what the coach is going to do here.
Yeah, he's up. He's clapping. He looks to be in full health. I'm not quite sure why he is not playing.
All right, Wilkins just helped cut that lead to 7, 68-61 K&D. I didn't get enough chance to talk to James. Can we just keep it here? Let's just keep it here, folks. We appreciate you joining us online with the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. And if you're just joining us, it's just a wonderful tournament. Everybody here helps. They just enjoy it. You don't see this kind of thing. That's why it's historic in nature, because the planning is unbelievable. They start next week planning for next year. And so it's something that this whole community has really embraced. I don't know about you, but I really, really enjoy seeing that.
No, I love it. This is my 7th tournament coming in a row, Dave, and hopefully I'll be here for about 50 more. I hope they continue to do it. And it's so cool because you come back here year after year, and it's like you just had left. You know, you see the same people, see the same scouts, the same international teams. It's really the game's best-kept secret. I mean, I don't understand why we don't have this gym every single seat filled, but it's kind of nice because it's easy to navigate your way around the gym. It's just small enough to where you can see everybody, but it's big enough to give it kind of a big-time feel. We've got great sponsorship, the referees. We've got Final Four officials out there. We've got Netcast Sports. We've got yourself that's been on ESPN, Dave. So we got it. This is a high-level event.
And you know what? We got players who can score, and that's what we've seen. But we've seen a nice little run by Sales Systems as they've cut this lead to 7.
And K&D's has been in control the whole game. Terrell trying to get the foul, takes the bump. And finishes. That gives him 11, too.
Good control in the air on him.
No, definitely. And he's so strong. He might have a career as a running back, Dave, if basketball doesn't work out for him.
You know, I still go back to athleticism. I talked to an NBA trainer today, and he said one of the most overused things that coaches do is make their players run the mile. Because the mile is kind of a test of human strength, they think. But, you know, this is more of a quick burst.
It is.
You know, fast twitch more than just, you know, slow twitch. And, you know, the mile is actually never run continuously in this sport.
Especially not in college because the way they call fouls, you know, oh, wow, Justin Johnson gets the end one as we were talking. But the way they call the fouls now, the way the flow is, I think I could go back and play now. You've got 4 media timeouts a half. You've got to call a whistle every 2 seconds. So.
Team's 4th.
So Justin Johnson at the line right now.
Yeah, Johnson keeping his team in it. It says he only has 6 points, Dave, but it seems like he has way more than that.
It really does.
And 5 rebounds. Now 7 points, I'm sorry. But, yeah, it seems like he would at least have 10 at this point.
Well, and this is why they're able to cut in the lead. Jock Landale on the other end.
So now 6 shot leads to a break. I've always said poor shots and missed layups always lead to points for the other team.
Well, K&D is not, with this rotation of 5 in there right now, they're not moving it side to side much. That was a nice little individual move right there by Kadeen Carrington.
Barford just trucked his way down inside, little out of control.
Jock Landale from St. Mary's.
Landale's one of those guys that also does it quietly. Now has 9 rebounds. Barford's had a tough time from the floor, but I've been impressed with this defense, Dave.
Oh, that's good. Well, it's good that you mentioned that.
He's really active, really high motor, and he's 4 for 15 now from the field. He's been really aggressive, but I just wish he would be a little bit more patient.
Last basket for K&D was Chris Cokley, first team Conference USA this year.
Yeah, him and Justin Johnson from Western Kentucky, the one that just shot it, are used to battling. He's actually, Cokley's here with his teammate from UAB, William Lee. William Ha-Ha Lee is his nickname.
2 really good players.
Excellent. They had a lot of high-low action this year. 2 bigs. You don't see that as much now at any level of basketball, really, but I'd love seeing them in action this season. Trying to get Rousey free.
Carrington has really showed a nice game both halves.
He has 11 points now, 4 for 14 from the field.
I don't think he was in double digits in either of the first 2 games, so it's nice to see him getting some. Justin Johnson.
He's starting to get rolling now as well. We had mentioned that it seemed like he was in double figures. Well, now he is with 11 points. That's his 1-3. He usually hits about 1 of those a game.
Well, he had 17 last night, 9 rebounds in 29 minutes.
George King off the mark. He's so patient, though. He takes what's given to him, and there he read that one the whole way.
Then he comes up with a defensive play on the other end. That's
exactly.
You know, if you're making notes and you're a scout, you're like, okay, guy comes back from a missed shot, makes a defense play on the other end.
Yeah, but he doesn't force the issue. You have these guys, Dave, are looking to actually cross off names off their list. Okay, there's so many players out there.
Yeah.
And you can't give them a reason to cross off your name. You know, bad shots, showing poor IQ, turnovers, not boxing out, not playing hard. Those things get you crossed off. What George King does, though, is he keeps his name on the list.
Not that time for Carrington. Here comes K&D. It's a bad pass out, though, by Landale. George King with the miss. And the finish, Jeffrey Carroll. And now we've got 5-point game.
This second half has flown by.
Speaking of halves, I think I may have had the earphones on yesterday. I think I heard one of you sets of guys talking about, you know, they don't play quarters here like you'll see in the NBA. You think they'll ever experiment with that?
I think they should. College basketball is the only league, male college basketball is the only league in the world, Dave, that plays 2 halves.
Yeah, I want to see it changed in real college basketball.
I do too. Women's basketball has done it. There's that defense we were talking about by Barford. He's just all into the ball. He's taking advantage of the fact that they've allowed some extra contact out there.
He also keeps his feet moving, though, too.
He does.
You know,
so quick.
Well, now we have a 2-point game. All of a sudden, we've seen to be double digits for many parts of this game.
These guys are really scrapping. I don't think they had that play right. They ran a horns at you, but both guards were on the same side. It results in a turnover.
One of those things that happens because you got guys taken out of their college systems. And the bucket. Good control there. Tyler Nelson out of Fairfield.
I don't know what he ate for breakfast this morning, David, but he's playing a great game. Really feeling it. Really efficient, too. 3 for 5 from the 3. 7 for 10 from the field with 17 points out of Fairfield. We came in as a scorer over 22 a game.
Chance to take the lead, doesn't. We have a tie, though.
Grown man rebound that time by Geben.
So both of these teams even, neither one giving up. They'll still feel like they really hit the finish line at the end of this one.
Rousey showing the quicks.
Oh, George King.
Just couldn't quite finish.
Also not a finish by Lindsey, but it was.
He battled 3 players down there and still got that rebound.
He really battled the whole time, both times.
Oh, boy.
Rousey getting tangled up there. He's going to be charged with a foul.
Rousey showing some competitive fire. He's a little spark plug type guy. But I like seeing this. This thing's getting a little bit scrappy.
Because we're not seeing as high scoring as you pointed out, so we need to see scrappy.
Yeah, and there's only been really 11 combined fouls this half. Strap on your hard hats, Dave, because this one's going to be a fun final 6 minutes.
Yeah, this is what I really love about, evaluating the skill levels in basketball. Football, I'm not a big fan of the combine. No guy runs an unscathed 40 in an actual game. And I don't know why it's so important unless you're a kickoff or punt returner.
Yeah.
But, the skill levels that these guys are looking at, I think, are so important in an 82-game schedule in an NBA season.
Exactly. Great defense that time by King. I mean, Barford never had a chance. Oh, the SLD of the game. Big Shaq-like dunk right there.
Rousey with the assist. And Geben.
That's an ill-advised shot right there for Barford.
Well, and quickly, after tying it up, now it's a little mini 4-0 run.
Especially since he's 4 of 16 from the field.
Nice screen. Good taking advantage of the screen.
Look up.
Yep, that's all he's got to do. Finished by Jeffrey Carroll. So we have 82-80. The team wearing their green is K&D Rounds Landscaping. Let's step aside. We'll be back with the final 5 minutes of this one next year. Welcome back. Championship game, 5:02 left to go here at the Portsmouth Tournament Invitational. Churchland High School, which has one of the great high school nicknames, I think, Truckers.
I love that. We'll see if some of these teams, Dave, can heat up from three. Both teams shooting under 30% for the game, but they've gotten into the scoring now. So this one was low scoring early, but they've gotten hot last few minutes. Cokley, poor decision there. Oh, great idea by Johnson. Saw the cutting Nelson, who's had a big game, 17 points this one.
And so we've got a 2-point game. A couple substitutions being made.
I don't know how many more we'll see in this one.
Nope, they might take it right to the end. There's Justin Johnson.
Great
holding the ball with George King on him.
Yeah, this is a great matchup. He's got the clear out.
Ooh, nowhere to go. And then a bad pass. King with a great defense.
He's been unbelievable. He's so underrated skill set. 17 points now, too, which is really quiet, 17.
Ooh. We had not seen much of Terrell here in this second half.
He had Nelson going with him.
He did.
Martin.
And you know what? Kadeen Carrington, once again, did not give up the easy layup.
No, not at all. But we've seen a couple of 3-on-2s, 2-on-1 plays for Sales System. Got to share the ball. K&D stays in the lead. He got fouled.
Oh.
Yep.
And he'll go to the line.
It is good by Justin Johnson.
I think you mentioned it. Justin Johnson has really had a nice second half here.
No, he has. I was fortunate enough to be able to watch him multiple times in his career, and really always liked him. Improved year to year, 15-9 this season, and he was all conference in the CUSA. This is going to be a fun finish.
Yeah, it really is. Look at it. 1 point game. And Sales Systems has not led that many minutes of this entire game.
He's got the Defensive Player of the Year on him right now.
A lot of spread out there.
Watch the shot clock. And they didn't recognize it.
No, they didn't, and there wasn't a whole lot of movement either.
No.
I mean, they spread out for something to happen, but nothing happened.
Well, they had Terrell that was up at the top, used a lot of clock with the dribble, but unfortunately he had Isaiah Wilkins, who's the ACC Defensive Player of the Year on him, and wasn't able to get far.
There's Justin Johnson against George King again.
That's been the matchup to watch this whole game.
Went to the right-handed hook. Still, I'd say that's good defense by King.
It was excellent.
Made him go to the hook.
Yeah. Look at Cokley. Oh, wow. Cokley showing some versatility he hasn't shown yet this tournament. So many talented players out there, Dave, for both teams here, as we will have another substitutions. Landale is about to check in from St. Mary's, but in a close game like this is the championship. Last chance to impress NBA scouts, personnel on hand. So it's going to be interesting who takes the final shot, who they give the ball to, what these coaches decide to do, because there's a lot of capable players.
Yeah, there really is, and that free throw just tied up the score again as we near the 3-minute mark.
Justin Johnson exits, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him maybe come back in. Maybe for Martin.
Still a lot of scouts that I recognize are here. One of the most notable Clippers president, Lawrence Frank, is here.
I noticed that.
Do you know the most interesting stat about Lawrence Frank?
I do not.
He was an equipment manager for Bob Knight at Indiana.
Okay,
when he started.
Oh, wow.
By Jaylen Barford.
A lot of equipment managers go on to the great heights because they see a lot of things and do a lot of things.
Future NBA head coach.
Head coach and now team president for Steve Ballmer. All right, we've got a game here. Sales Systems has been very slithery.
Oh, Carroll got away with the walk.
By their comeback.
There's King making the nice drive and kick.
Cokley couldn't finish. There's the big fella giving it off quickly.
Good decision by, I believe that's Butler's Martin pulling it out. And let's get a good shot here for Sales System.
Yeah, nearing the 2-minute mark.
They've got the lead. Barford, Rousey showing good defense.
Yeah, the guards aren't giving up anything easy on the perimeter. There's a nice little seal by Carrington.
Nice pass by Rousey. Oh, great body control too by Terrell. That was a great sequence. They had the mouse in the house down here, and that was a 4-point swing because they should have scored, and then you get the breakaway layup. Carrington right in.
Now you see they're playing tied basketball right now.
Oh, my goodness. Carrington all into Barford. Man, giving them no room.
He still put it up anyway.
He probably fouled him about 5 times before they called out.
With 1:34 left.
I wouldn't expect anybody to be nervous or tight here, Dave, because all these guys are seniors. A lot of them have been in college for multiple years, at least 4 years, some of them even 5. So they've been on the big moments.
So can we keep it here? Let's keep it here because I want to ask you about the guy that's going to go to the line right now, Jaylen Barford. All right, here's an interesting one. He had himself quite a career at Arkansas. Many, when talking about Arkansas history, put the combination of Daryl Macon and Jaylen Barford right up there with Scottie Thurman and Corliss Williamson as 2 of the best tandem guys that they've had in Arkansas history, possibly moving Sidney Moncrief and Ron Brewer out of that top 2 discussion. So between Macon and Barford, they were a winning combination there at Arkansas.
They were, and Arkansas had a good year this year. The SEC was a little bit was deeper than in years past as well. And Arkansas had some good bigs, and obviously good guard play. Barford struggled a little bit from the field, but he still has 11 points, 5 of 18, but he has 9 rebounds, 6 assists, just showing how active and how high his motor goes. And with a minute and change left here, Sales Systems, they're still going to go to him. Coach Kenneth Harris is still trusting him.
Listen to what he did in game 1, and that's Jaylen Barford. 20 points and 6 rebounds in 15 minutes. Only played 15 minutes and put up 20 points.
Yeah. He's got 29 minutes tonight, and he's going to get over 30 because I'm assuming he's going to stay in the game. So Rousey checks in.
And that hits his high because last night he had 25 minutes and scored 23 points. So he's a productive guy. Hits him. It breaks that tie and gives Sales Systems limited. These sponsors are loving this too because they're thinking we would sure love to win the tournament.
Oh, yes.
Because, they've got a little bit of one-upping on each other as sponsors, long-time sponsors here.
Long time.
Oh! The hook with the left hand to create space, and that could not have felt good.
No.
Number 14, Isaiah Wilkins, is fourth.
Boy, Isaiah Wilkins says that was not an easy foul that I just committed. I think he got the brunt end of it.
Yeah,
Carrington with 2 shots.
Carrington just a little quicker, but you would assume that since he's a guard. And Wilkins, even though he's the defensive player of the year in the ACC, is not quite used to staying in front of a quick guard like Carrington. Carrington's been really active. He's got 10 points, 5 of 17 from the field, but his usage rate this game, though, has been really high.
Well, they loved him at Seton Hall. They'll talk about his name for many, many years to come. 3 NCAA tournaments while he was there in the 2016 Big East title championship.
And I believe Wilkins just fouled out, too.
And it's 6 here, right?
Yeah.
Don't they have 6?
Trying to get
1 minute remaining.
Yeah, I think he did. He was either 5 or 6, but they took him out of the game.
Here we go, the final minute of this 12-game tournament of 2018.
That's a huge
And so down 1, K&D has the ball. Under 40, or nearing 40. Oh, what a finish.
Harrington takes the contact and finishes.
See, that's why we just talked about him, what he's been doing.
Let's see if we get any timeouts here. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Coach gets it to the sweet spot.
Let's keep it here because K&D has done a nice job. They've had a big lead. They didn't have a lead. They got a big lead. They couldn't protect the big lead, but they have now fought their way back a couple of times in this one.
Yeah, and coming out of this timeout here, it's going to be interesting. You've got 33 seconds to go, shot clock at 18, but you're only down 1. So I'd like to get something to the rim here as we're in the bonus. And Barford's so strong, so athletic, so explosive. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw some sort of zip-down screen, get him free at the top, maybe use a few seconds, have a high pick-and-roll, get him going downhill, maybe a screen possibly from Justin Johnson, who's a big guy, could set a real physical screen. Put your shooters, Nelson, in the corner. If you get an open 3, you might as well take it. So, but they're going to put the ball here in Barford's hands as he's led him practically. And I know he's led him in rebounds with 9. He's actually got 6 assists, too. So,
yeah, some pretty active numbers. Not as high scoring as the first 2 games in this tournament for both of these teams.
And Wilkins is back in the game, too. He did only have 5 fouls, so that was my mistake. So he's back in here. Barford. We might have a double high screen with.
Not that they're tired, but one of these teams had to play overtime last night, K&D, before they went home.
There's the screen we were talking about. Johnson. Barford.
Barford in the lane, gets it. It takes the lead. Is it a last shot attempt?
Shot clock turned off. This is what we came to see.
This is what you want. Championship game of the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. And it's in your hands to win the game.
Carrington and Barford.
Carrington gets it with 4 seconds left. Here comes a final lay-in. It goes! I can't believe it!
What a pass by Justin Johnson to Tyler Nelson for the lay-in.
Wow, Tyler Nelson of Fairfield is getting hugged and carried around the court.
And we.
There will be 2 seconds put back on the clock.
I have hard to believe that did he cover that? I said it was 4 seconds when he made the basket.
Yeah, I've got people asking me who threw the pass. It was Justin Johnson with an amazing outlet pass there.
Yeah.
That was terrific, but we're actually going to put 2 seconds back up. Nobody knows what's going on right now.
Well, I can't believe it either, because I said that basket was good at 4, and that was a long pass, and that was a quick run by Nelson.
Yeah.
But, man, that's a quick 2 seconds.
Jeez.
I mean, that's a gift if you get 2 more full seconds on this clock.
You know, I'm glad our game tonight's at 7 o'clock, so we have people stay up for this one.
Was that an exciting up and down?
Oh, my goodness. That was Kevin Love-like on that outlet pass. Justin Johnson with a huge outlet. Tyrell Nelson, if they hold on to win this, he's going to get my MVP, Dave.
Oh.
19.7 to 10.
On Justin Johnson? Yeah.
Well, no, Tyrell Nelson. I'm sorry.
Oh, Tyler Nelson. Okay.
Yeah, Tyrell Nelson. 19.7 to 10 for the field, 3 of 5 from 3, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and potentially the game-winning basket. We'll see if they can hold on. Can they advance the ball here, Dave?
See, that's what I was just going to ask.
So this is, I know they play with it doesn't look like they can as they're rolling it down court. NBA rules would allow them to advance it.
Right.
But,
This makes it hard.
It does. Very hard. I look for some sort of screen action at midcourt to free up maybe a long pass. 2 seconds, you do have time to take one dribble and shoot.
It's Grand Hill Christian Leitner, just with a 0.8 of more second, I believe.
This is going to be fun.
And there's a lot of guys in the backcourt. Here it goes. Carrington. Oh! And no. Wow. And so the man with the winning basket had subbed out, by the way, for defensive purposes, I guess.
Yeah.
And it is Sales Systems wins 91-90.
It's a fun game, Dave.
Boy, that really was. And if you can't tell, I had fun. And for people listening, I've never worked a game with James Blackburn before. So that's the biggest thrill I have in broadcasting is when I get to work with really smart guys. So you've been a lot of fun to work with.
No, I hope that we could do it again in the future. That was really enjoyable, Dave. So.
Yeah, this was a well-played tournament. I don't know about the games earlier today because I was working another event, but I know those 2 semifinals last night were highly competitive. You couldn't ask for the distribution of the players, of 64 players, any better than what we've seen.
Yeah, that's a tough job sometimes, but they did a great job this year. The 7th, 8th place game was one of the best games I've seen as far as that level of game. And they're going to do the trophies presentation now, but
well,
we could just give the scoring numbers real quick, Dave, and then we can wrap it up. So
yeah, let's do that.
Tyrell Nelson, 19 points to lead Sales System, really lead all scorers. He was followed by Barford with 15, Johnson with 14, Carroll with 15, Martin in double figures of 12, and then with K&Ds, we had George King, 17 points from Colorado, led that team. Carrington with 15, Geben with 13, and Terrell with 13.
Well, it was a hard-fought one for Sales Systems Limited. It really was. And good job by the entire crew here, Netcast Sports, throughout this. I know I was able to watch some of it online from various parts and even here in the arena. And good job to all the folks and the volunteers here at the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. James, it's been fun working with you.
Yes, sir. Hope we can do it again soon.
That's going to wrap up the 2018 Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. We will see you, hopefully, and make sure you make a visit to this tournament someday as well. For now, we say good night.